I wanted to recreate a historic dress that had some local importance to Richmond. So I looked into what museums were around that had local history and might be interested in working with me on this kind of a project. So the first place I visited actually was the John Marshall House Museum, and they had this great portrait, that one, of John Marshall's wife. He calls her Polly, so I kind of, in my blog, I referred to her as Polly and the dress as Pollys Dress. Well, the first thing I had to decide was what style of dress it was, and at first I thought it was a round gown, which is completely attached all the way around the front, and it's actually, it folds down open like this, and you kind of like slip into it and then fold it up and tie it up on the top. Because, yeah, so I only have the profile of the dress in the portrait, so there's a lot of guesswork. But then I was looking at some historic patterns, and I couldn't figure out how to make the dress open and still have all this full gathering that is really prominent in the portrait. So I found a historic pattern for a open gown, which is what I ended up going with. An open gown just means that it has this opening panel, so it actually like folds open in the front. And eventually the rest of the skirt will be attached here and come down, and it will tie at the side here, and then so the whole dress will open up and this will tie here, but it won't have any skirt. See, it's all finished edge. And then part of what I discovered in my primary research at the Valentine History Center and also the Smithsonian, looking at real dresses, was that all of these dresses have this bodice lining that it's not going to be attached to skirt lining at all. It's just kind of like an under bodice that's attached at the shoulder and at the sleeves. So it's kind of this odd thing that we don't do at all anymore. But you can see why, because of this fabric. It's so sheer. You can see the mannequin right through it. This provides a little bit more modesty. And under it, I also made the shift, which is a heavier linen, which is kind of typical of the time. They would wear the shift at all times. They hardly ever took it off. They'd wear it to bathe, they'd wear it to sleep, and unless you were very wealthy, you only had one or maybe two. And these stays, so this is the back of the dress. It's kind of pinned on right now, but it's pleated in the back, and then the fullness in front will be gathered. And it has these nice fiddle seams, the fiddle back seams, because the way the fullness comes up front, it needs to end somewhere, because they never had gathered backs unless it was a round gown, so open gowns didn't have the gathered back. Yeah, there's a lot of challenges working with a mannequin and not a person, and I can't work with a person because I wanted to make accurate stays, and in the 1700s, women actually grew up from children wearing these corsets or stays that actually changed the shape of the human body. So no one can wear these comfortably anymore and actually take on the shape of a woman from 1790. When I'm done with the dress, I plan to donate it to the John Marshall House Museum, and last I heard, we're going to put on an exhibit there of the dress. Inevitably, I've learned more about John Marshall and who he was, and a little bit about his relationship with Polly. There's not too much out there about her, and that's part of what I like about this project too, is that I'm kind of maybe not giving her more of a voice, but giving her more of a visual impact on history, hopefully.